guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I want to thank all of you for coming out, all the media outlets who expressed interest in this case. As you know, Rena Mellerson's case was dismissed today. She was the 76-year-old grandmother who was hip-tossed to the ground by Baltimore County police officer Schmidt. And it arose out of an incident that took place at 7009 North Alton Street in Baltimore County. But originally, the entire matter began at 74 West Wynd's place. And during that particular situation, Rena Mellerson's granddaughter was involved in a very heated discussion with the Corporal Brennan, whereby some indelicate language was used. However, there's no criminal offense that took place at that particular location, and I think that's where the dispute lies between this office and the state's attorney's office for Baltimore County. We believe that Sierra Floyd was exercising her right under protected speech, and they believe that she committed the crime of disorderly conduct, and that was the impetus for Corporal Brennan to go to her home several minutes after the fact, about 20 minutes later, to try to effect an arrest. We are challenging that arrest because we believe that it was unlawful, because again, she was exercising her rights under the First Amendment. You have a right to protest police. You have a right to say things that some people may find vulgar or offensive, but the First Amendment says that it's okay. This is protected speech. It has its utilities in our society, and basically that's what Sierra Floyd was doing on the day in question. She did not feel like the police were there to be helpful to her, that they were not there to assist her, that they were agitating her and belittling her, and that's what caused the encounter between herself and Corporal Brennan. So that matter will be tried on a later date, but for all intents and purposes, Rena Mellerson's case is over. We intend to advance our civil action against Corporal Brennan and particularly Corporal Schmidt, who hip-tossed her to the ground. We're also going to advance civil action against Corporal Brennan on behalf of Rena Mellerson's grandchildren. They were 7, 9, and 10 years old, who ingested pepper spray as a result of Corporal Brennan indiscriminately and recklessly deploying his OC spray into the home when he knew that they were present, that his minors were present.
Did anyone apologize?
No one's going to apologize, and no one did apologize for what took place with Rena Mellerson. And we're not happy with the fact that it took them so long. This event occurred on January 10th of 2020, and here we are now, I believe the day is March 10th of 2020, and from January 10th until now, Ms. Rena Mellerson has had to deal with the anxiety and the stress of going to court and not knowing what's going to happen, believing in her innocence, believing in her attorneys, but nonetheless, it is not a very happy state of mind to be in when you're waiting for a court date where almost anything can happen. So we do take issue with the fact that this case should have been dismissed on arrival. It should have been dead on arrival, that she should have never been charged with these offenses, and she certainly should not have had to wait 60 days to have them dismissed. So we're not very happy about that fact, but we are indeed relieved by the fact that at some point in time, the state's attorney's office came to its senses and decided that this case did not merit a prosecution.
Are you seeking any jail time for the officer?
Well, jail time is not going to be a possibility in this particular case. What we are going to do is seek compensation for the injuries that were sustained and perhaps punitive damages. I know the family is very interested in the officer being terminated from his job, because someone who would throw a 76-year-old woman to the ground, we believe is not fit to be an officer. Nevertheless, that's an administrative matter that it will be something that we will encourage or exhort the county to do, because this officer, we believe, is a threat to our citizenry in Baltimore County.
And from what I understand, Ms. Floyd has requested a jury trial today.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything, I know you're talking about how, your clients believe she's only exercising her civil rights. What do you hope comes out of this trial, Ms. Floyd?
Well, just as any other trial, we're looking for a full acquittal. Our defense has merit. It's supported by the case law. It's supported by Maryland state law. And so we're just looking for our day in court so that we can advance all of these defenses and let either a judge or a jury have the final say, whether it's a judge with regard to the legality of the defenses or a jury with regard to the facts. Either way, we feel confident that an acquittal should be forthcoming.
Mr. Gordon,
and hopefully, they will reconsider their position as to Ms. Floyd and dismiss this case just like they did Ms. Mellerson today.
Mr. Gordon, what does this say about the state of race relations in Baltimore County?
It doesn't speak highly of it, and we've been dealing with race relations seems to be more prevalently today than ever before. And when it gets to a point where you're slamming 76-year-old grandmothers to the ground, this is a real problem that deserves immediate action. It's no longer can we wait, can we hope that the police will do the right thing. The community has to come out and express their outrage against all that has taken place, especially with Ms. Rena Mellerson. It doesn't matter what her daughter was doing. Whatever her daughter was doing, whether it's protected speech or disorderly conduct, that is a misdemeanor. You don't kick in people's doors, bring people outside of their homes, spray OC spray, pull your weapon out, and pull your baton out. Just every weapon that he had in his tool belt, Corporal Brennan brought out to effect what we believe was an unlawful arrest. You don't do that in this society, especially against a 76-year-old woman in her house without a warrant.
Is this why you took the case?
I took the case because it was wrong, and I felt as though something needed to be done about it. And when they called me and expressed to me that they wished to retain my services, I did not hesitate to come forward and offer them.
Going forward, speaking to that question, obviously you're pursuing the civil action. Is there anything you or your client hope will be done, I guess, after either that civil matter is resolved, or what do you hope will be done going forward with either the police department or, I guess, anything in general? What do you hope to have happen?
With the civil action, we're looking for justice. And whatever a jury determines that to be, we'll find it acceptable. With regard to Baltimore County Police, there needs to be a realignment of these officers. In my opinion, on behalf of the family, I believe the officer needs to be terminated. Some have mentioned additional training, but again, you shouldn't have to train an officer not to slam a 76-year-old woman to the ground. So I don't know if this is something that can be corrected by training. This officer, we believe, his actions were beyond the pale, and he is unfit for his duties as a police officer. And I hope I answered your question. Was there a third part to it?
No, it was mostly what do you hope happens next?
Right.
The civil.
So
the civil is.
we're looking for police reforms. You don't hear about it much, but Baltimore County has had a problem with its police for a long period of time. It still has that same problem. I applaud the recognition by the new police chief or commissioner out there who understands that, yeah, we need to fix some of these relations with our communities, because at the rate they're going, and it seems like the harder she tries, the more incorrigible some of these officers' behavior becomes. But I do feel like she wants to improve the community relations with her department, but in order to do that, some heads have to roll. And when you have a situation like this where a police officer can hip toss and slam to the ground a 76-year-old woman, there's no place, or there should be no place on Baltimore County Police Department's staff for an officer like that. He should not be allowed to patrol our communities.
Do she have to relocate since the case dismissed now? Do you think that she going to get repercussion behind this?
I don't think that she has to relocate from her residence. She's been living in that particular residence for close to 50 years, if not 50 years. And so she is in that community. She is an anchor of that community. She is a pillar of that community. So the actual person who needs to relocate should be that police officer and not Ms. Mellerson.
I don't know if it's customary or anything, so I'm asking blindly. Do you have any idea in what type of, or how much compensation it would take to make Ms. Mellerson whole or that family whole?
Well, what we intend to do is present all of the evidence in front of a Baltimore County jury, and they will make those determinations. I don't know what that amount may be. I may feel it's one number, and the jury may feel like it's a much higher number. So I don't like to speculate as to what those numbers are. But what I will speculate to is that we will get justice. I will speculate to that, because that is on the horizon. And today was the very first step. Today was day one of our pursuit of justice in this case.
Mr. Gordon, when it came to securing an attorney, were you contacted immediately or did it take some time? And if it did, what advice would you have for others who are in such a situation, who are hesitant about contacting an attorney?
When you're in a situation such as this, I don't think you're going to have to put on a campaign to attain an attorney. My motto is, if you see a good fight, get in it. And this right here was a good fight. It was worthy of competent counsel who was willing to take on the Baltimore County police officers who caused this situation. And she chose the right one as far as I'm concerned. And I also will state that Derek Hamlin, who's co-counsel in this case and lead counsel in Sierra Floyd's case, I brought him into the case because I thought that he would be a perfect fit, given his background and his reputation and skills. So you're going to have Sierra Floyd represented by Derek Hamlin in the criminal matter coming up soon, and I'll be joining him a little later on, and then we'll be taking on the civil action as well.
Good deal.
Okay.
Thank you.